How to create a color wheel trend in Filmora? First, open Filmora, right-click on the audio material, select Beat Detection, then choose Beat option, uncheck Mark Highlight Beats Only, and drag the audio into the video editing track. Next, drag the uploaded color wheel material into the track, copy it, drag the timeline back to the beginning of the material, and adjust the size of the material. Then, add a zoom in animation to the first color wheel material, and at the beginning, set a composition keyframe. Here, you can set the opacity to 0, and then move the timeline to the second green marker and set the opacity to 100. Then, move the timeline to the third green marker. Add a transform keyframe. Move the timeline to the right, and at the fifth green marker, adjust the angle. Move the position of the color wheel material to the left, showing only half of it, and then adjust the size. At the end of this material, add a freeze frame. At the sixth green marker point, cut the material. Resize the material in this way to achieve the zooming effect. Then copy a copy and apply the effect to the subsequent time. Next, add a segment of purple color wheel footage between these two markers. Turn on the chroma key and remove the black background. Then add transform and compositing keyframes. Adjust the size and position and set the opacity to 0. After that, tweak the opacity at this red marker to make the footage semi-transparent. Then move the timeline to the middle of these two markers and set the opacity back to 0. Do the same for the rest of the footage. Next, import some nice footage into the stock media library and arrange them in these positions. Then, add a piece of white color wheel material here. Also remove the black background. Adjust the size and move it onto the color wheel. While adding keyframes, make sure the white circle stays on the color wheel the whole time, and you can add a few more keyframes to achieve this effect. Next, select all the media and move them up 2 tracks. Add a text media to the bottom track, change its size and style. Then copy a corresponding video media and place it on the track above the text. Change the blend mode to multiply, then add a transform keyframe at the beginning of the text clip to enlarge the text. Then move the timeline to the red marker point and reduce the text size. Perform the same operation for the following text clips as well. Then, move the timeline back to the beginning of the video. Choose your preferred title style in the title effects. Add it to the video editing track. Adjust the style and size of the text. Add a blur and animation at the beginning, and a linear wipe animation at the end. Let's take a look at the final effect.